Hello everyone. Good morning. How's y'all doing today? But no, really. Hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. My name is Douglas, and today we're gonna be doing some kind of game dev art stream stuff. So hello there, Ben. How are you doing today? I'm just gonna finish throwing links on all the internet places so people can see what the hell is going on. Then we're gonna get started. But before that, how are you doing today, Grace? And everybody else who's there? As some of you may guess, or suppose, it is ridiculously early over here. Hence why I'm still half asleep. Also, hello there, Sam. Welcome to the stream. Game Dev Art Dream. There you go. Sam, you said that today is a holiday over there. Ooh, fun. What a holiday that would be. Because over here it isn't, so I wonder which holiday it is over there. So now we also need some delicious royalty-free music to play. Let me get these songs here and play them. There we go. It should be loud enough to be counted as music, but low enough so it doesn't works over me. Alright, let me go back into Clip Studio and set some things up. By the way, let me also change the scene into the art scene as we get this thing going. Actually, if I throw in the Clip Studio full, will it break? Yeah, it will break a little bit. Shouldn't, but it does break a little bit. Go figure. Oh well. And Sam, you said today's holiday, so you have time for stream, and you don't know what holiday it is. Would you mind looking it up? I'm kinda curious to know what holiday that one is. Also, what the hell is this? Doesn't want to remove that, please. I'll lock this so I can move it. There we go. I'm gonna go in and throw some of those things there. Relocate the placement of some things here in the art scene. There we go. That should work for now. So, welcome to the stream, everybody, and good morning. Happy Monday. What we're gonna be doing here today is slightly different-ish. So what we have is this character picture, profile picture of Wallace for the for this game that I'm doing, the visual novel. And last time around what I did was just draw sketchy versions of this, so they're not like super detailed, but they have details enough that you can tell what's going on. The problem with them is two things. They're still very sketchy, which is the thing I want to address, but there's also the problem that they here they look okay, but when I went to try and animate this on Unity, I saw that the animation was very badly, poorly done. So what I'm gonna try and do is fix up the animation. And Sam says, oh, it's the holiday of Tiradentes. And while Cute Boy of the Underbite, I think that's the name. Yeah, that is the name. But you're right. I think it is Tiradentes today. Let me check that. No. Well, the national Tiradentes holiday is April 21st, which is still a month from now. I don't know what today is. Anyway, this is Wallace, and I'm going to try and reanimate him through Clip Studio itself. That's so I can see how poorly done the animation is and fix up the sketchiness of it. Because I have been thinking this past few weeks that I have been doing a lot of stuff for the game, like trying new techniques and new mechanics, but I have been doing very little progress. Like ridiculously little progress. Wait, what is this? Oh, I see. I have been doing ridiculously little progress, so I need to start actually making progress towards the game itself. So what I'm going to do is try and I'm going to try and start doing character art, because the bulk of the game is writing down the story and doing the character portraits to complement the story. The rest I can more or less figure out as we go along. But without this, the story, the written story and the character portraits, there's very little. We won't have a game at all. So that's what I'm going to try and focus on today. We're gonna have that, which is the Wallace neutral, then his mouth. Oh, this connection happened. What do you know? My internet is still sucky. And Sammy says for basic info, Tiradentes, you're forgetting an E on that name. It's a historical figure here in Brazil. Yeah, but that doesn't matter. Anyway. Yeah, welcome back. So, I was saying something I don't know where. Twitch, the internet connection cut me off, so I'm just gonna relay the whole information again. There's this, for animating, each frame of time frame can only have like one layer active on it. And the way that I organize my layers here for the characters is that I have the line art on a layer and the colors on another layer. So for each state of the character I need these 2 layers. Further down the line it gets more complicated because I also add the shading layer. So that's 3 layers per pose. But like I said, for animating I can just have 1 layer per frame. Unless I go and, well, there is ways to have more layers per animation frame, but that's more work. Which is kind of good because then I can go back and edit things in real time. Come to think of it. But on the other hand, it's like, how much hassle. I don't know if it's actually a good idea or not. But anyway. So what I did here was merge all the layers together. So I have them going on. So I only need one layer per animation frame. So what I'm gonna do here is go into this animation and let's call this mouth 1, 2, and 3. That works. Eyes 1, eyes 2. So I'm gonna have by default in the entire animation mouth 1 going on and eyes 1 going on. Then the 60 frames, it doesn't need to be that long. So starting on frame 3, let's say that he starts talking. That's so I can see his talking animation. So that would be mouth 2, then mouth 3. The way I animate this is the following. I have their mouths in a closed position, then a semi-open position, then a fully open position. And then they go back to their mouths in the closed position. Then their mouths go back into the fully open position. Then back down to semi-open position, and then back to closed position. So pretty much there's a smooth animation of it opening, then it closes and opens sharply, and then there's a smooth animation of the mouth closing. So it looks something like this. And then further down the line here, I'm just going to throw in the blink animation to make sure that the blink is looking okay. The blink animation, I just go, is the same thing with the mouth. There's the eyes open, semi-open, and then closed. The eyes work the opposite way though. They are always open. So they're always open, then they have the semi-closed, then closed, and the next frame is already the eyes open. There's the eyes open, closes slowly but opens sharply. So it looks something like this now. What we can also do is animate the eyes in the opposite way. So instead they are already open, then they go to the closed state, and they open in a smooth transition. probably looks a little bit better now. It looks more like a blinking, actually. But the thing I don't like here is the way the mouth looks. Because this mouth is looking very bad for my standards of animation. The way the mouth just opens and goes about it feels very weird. Also, this mouth feels crooked to begin with. So that's what we're about to correcting today, all these mouth opening and closing animations. So we're gonna begin with mouth number 1. Let's fix up this this entire mouth situation. Because, like I said, it looks like the mouth is crooked, so I'm gonna try and... Actually, let's go to the body and change its color to something different so I can tell what is the mouth and what is the beard. I'm gonna have it on a slightly lighter color, the mouth on a slightly sharper red color, so we can tell the difference here. Of course, animating that's gonna look weird because everything's gonna change colors as it goes. But don't pay that too much mind. Let's focus on editing this mouth so it looks a little bit better. I don't need the timeline for now, so I'm gonna hide that down. What I want to do here for this mouth is try and twist the upper lip of the muzzle pretty much. Part of why it looks crooked is, well, because it does looks crooked. Then if just adjusting the position of certain elements of the face, alright, it does seem like my internet is acting up today. Today and every day. I do apologize for that. But I don't know what to do about that. Because here it says my internet is working okay, but I guess it just keeps disconnecting every now and then. Let's see how it goes. If it keeps disconnecting, I'll try and think something up of what I can do. I can always, you know, just go and try turning my computer off and then on again. Let's see if that improves something. So what I'm changing here is kind of redrawing the entire Wallace's entire mouth situation. Bringing his teeth closer apart. So in general it looks already to begin with, and if it's looking good to begin with, then we can focus on mouth movement and other stuff. Because, you know, first the base of the bases of the drawing has to be looking good. Then we can start thinking about animating it. It makes no sense and is counterproductive to think about it otherwise. But yeah, despite the disconnection, I am back. And Simon said it's dark. Don't know what to watch, Miss Duck. Oh, I bet there's a lot of other Twitchers you can watch, other streamers rather. That you can always go and watch. That isn't me. And even if that would be the case, you can always go and do something else with your time. So just play some games, read some books, work on some personal project you have going on. Because even if I wasn't streaming right now, I would be looking up to work on some personal project. I would keep working on this whole animation thing here, I just wouldn't be streaming it. So even without, you know, something to watch, Sam, even without me here or something to watch, there's a lot of other things you can go and do. So now it's gonna get to the fun little part of animating. So let's move this tusk here. I say tusk, but it's not really a tusk, it's just a very big teeth. Tooth. Rather. Sorry, the English language just confuses me. So does my own, but don't talk about that. I spent way too many years in high school trying to learn my language to come back empty-handed. Sam, you ask if it can be called a small fang. It isn't a fang per se. It's what's it called? It's an incisor tooth. On a wild animal, it would be called fang, yes. Very sharp incisor teeth, but on a human-like creature, with a human-like proportion, we would not call it a fang. We would call it an incisor tooth, chomper. And also, yes, I want to move his head because I realized it looks a little bit off. Just the orientation of his head. So that requires me to change the position of the eyes a little bit. That's so it fits. That's alright, the eyes are the easiest thing to refit in there. The mouth, though, not so much. I have to redraw some of these corners here, but that's alright. So tell me a little bit more about you guys. How's your Mondays going so far? What sort of adventures you guys have been going on? What have you been doing? How is life? How is work? How is your guys' morning collective, or rather singular? Because as for me, I woke up and started working here. Of course I did go and had some breakfast before, but my breakfast was very light, so to speak. I just had half a cup of coffee and a couple loaves of bread. I didn't feel very hungry after waking up. And then, after waking up, having my very light breakfast, I thought about what the hell was I going to do today and for the rest of the week. I have been thinking about that. theoretically, I always have things going on in my mind should do. I think that has been kind of going on that I have to working through is the whole thing about commissions. I have a lot of commissions that I have to do. So even if I have nothing going on, I still have commissions to do. But as it happens, some, if not most, of the commissions I have to do aren't very stream friendly, so I can just go about showing them up here. Which means that stream wise, Twitch stream wise, I'm gonna be doing something entirely different. So this is the only art I had that was available to do on stream right now, so I'm working on that. And Ben, you said morning is meh, it's rainy, you're sleepy, you're at work, you want to go back to bed. Oh, 14. But rainy is kinda good. I would not mind a little rain right here, right now. So early in the morning, little rain would be nice. Okay, so I think I'm good with this mouth I have drawn. So what I'm gonna do now is, what the hell is this? So I'm gonna go ahead and delete those two other mouths I have drawn. So I have mouth 1. For here, what I'm gonna do is create a copy of mouth. So there's mouth 1 and mouth 2, but mouth 2 is gonna be the half open mouth. I'm gonna enable onion layer. What onion layer does is, if I move anything, say for example I come in here and move this entire part elsewhere, it's gonna show a little kinda leftover. What really sucks about this is that it is ridiculously impossible to deal with this whole thing of onion layers if the layer you're animating has colors going on, such as this one, which is the case, so that sucks. So what I did here was extract the color, so we just have the line art of the mouth layer. And now I'm gonna go back into this animation. I'm gonna start moving some stuff around and redrawing it rather. So that's the gist here right now. It's me redrawing this mouth. So what I'm gonna do first, I think, is try and just erase it. I think about the basics of mouth movement first. The basics of mouth movement that I believe would be the eyes being there. Actually, let me do some very delicious eyes. So first we would have the mouth closed. Then for the second frame we would have the mouth sorta open, as it begins saying, and then we would have the mouth open a little bit further. That is the basics of having a mouth movement going on. There's 3 frames of animation of this eye, of this mouth just opening and closing. Of course, if you are feeling fancy, or feeling like a fancy schmancy boy or animator girl, what you can try and do is do a phonic mouth animation. which means doing all sorts of sounds, drawing a mouth to make all sorts of sounds. Like you can make a very O mouth when you're saying stuff like O and oo. You can make a S sounds mouth, which is kind of the open mouth, but showing some teeth going on through there, like shit or shenanigans or stuff. For stuff, actually, you would have just some upper teeth and some tongue going on. Then you would say stuff or signal. So if you are feeling really fast, you can go with this phonic stuff and animate mouths for each and every sort of noise you can do. But that's like more than extra. For simple mouth animation, all you need is 3 frames of the mouth closed, semi-open, and then open. With these 3 frames you can make a very good mouth animation without needing to get fancy like that. So that's what I'm gonna do here, is try and make a mouth slightly open, as if Wallace is starting to say something. And then we're gonna see how that animation looks, and then we decide if it looks good, we proceed to the next animation and do the same thing. Today is fixing up animations. My name is not Felix, but I'm here to fix things up. That is a meme, by the way. A reference, rather. So theoretically I don't even need to move his chin beard with such a slight movement, such as slightly opening up his mouth, but I'm gonna go and animate that nonetheless. Just a little slight movement of the beard as he opens up his mouth for the first word he's gonna try and say. Also, this onion skin technique here, it also helps you to, since you can see how you drew stuff the first time around, it becomes a little bit easier to copy your own drawing without fussing too much over whether or not you're keeping up with continuity of your animation art style. Like, is this line here thicker? Is it thinner? Is it off to the side too much? Is it still in place? How's that looking? That kind of inquiries. Okay, so that's mouth number 2. Now let's make mouth number 3. Same thing. Let's just go here into the animation. What? Yeah, animation timeline here. and start trying to animate mouth number 3. Let's hide down the timeline. And now the starter mouth is already mouth number 2. So I'm gonna once again erase all of this mouth here. And throw in mouth number 3. This one is, like I said before, is slightly more open. Not too much though, I don't want to overdo it. Because Wallace is at an angle, I kind of also want to try and emphasize the left side more than the right side, so it doesn't look so crooked. By the way, I'm just kind of saying things and throwing terms around. I don't know if you guys are following up very well on what I'm doing and what I'm saying. Hope you guys are. I really hope you guys are. The thing I realize here is that the middle of his face would be like here-ish. So the distance between this left side and the right side of his mouth is too small. So this teeth here needs to be a little bit more to the side. So it looks accurate. I make his mouth look a little less crooked. Which is gonna help me with doing the teeth for mouth number 3 now. So that I can better place it in the space. So, as it happens, like I said before, I'm doing this visual novel. Call me yours, the visual novel, which is gonna be a sequel. But unfortunately, I have not gone about and played way too many visual novels, so I don't have that big a repertoire from which to draw reference from. So I wanna hear what you guys have to say. Have you guys yourselves played many visual novels? If so, which ones have you played? Which ones did you like the most, and what did you like the most about them? Also, hello there, Oni. Wolf Morning, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Hope you're not too tired, and hope you rested well, Oni. I grow worried about you, as I keep forcing you to wake up so early to be here moderating my stream. Still, welcome finally, Oni. Hope you're doing good today. But anywho, visual novels that I have played. There was this one visual novel that I cannot for the life of me remember the name. But if you go to the Rampai community, there's this guy, Winter Wolf Studios, I think is the name. That is a fucking prolific visual novel creator. This guy dishes out visual novels like crazy. Of course though, somehow he kinda is able to go and make partnerships with people really easily and quickly. So he just writes the story and programs the shit out of their games, but it's always someone else that goes and actually makes the art, the music, the whatevers. And he has been doing all sorts of visual novels over the years, and not necessarily visual novels that are just visual novels. They always goes and makes a game out of them, and actually implements game mechanics. I remember this one I played. I don't know what the name is. It was pretty much a space sci-fi game of some kind. It was like a Mass Effect wannabe, but it was actually quite good ish. Kind of weird, but kind of good as well. And I found it to be very fun. Like the game, the combat elements were there. They worked, and they were kind of good. Turn-based combat, which is nowadays is like, oh, okay, that's the staple of combat. Pretty much any game you want to make that has some sort of combat, turn-based is the way to go, because it's the easiest to do and implement with the least technical skill required, for the real novels go, and programming it in itself goes. But even though he goes in and throws lots of little elements through his games, he keeps making them on Ren'Py, and I don't see this guy getting as much reach as he should be getting. Like, his games are actually good. I should be getting more reach. But even though I haven't played all of them, just played one of his games, this little sci-fi game he made. Other than that, I don't know if you can consider it a visual novel, but I played the Zero Escape series. They're more like escape the room kind of games with some heavy storytelling elements to it. It's kind of crazy and very odd, but it is also very, very good. And I have been following and playing the games of that series, which completed on the third game that released a couple of years ago. Afterwards, let's see, what else have I played visual novel wise. I actually think that's it. I'm not a very prolific gamer, as it happens. But I did go around and play some other games, some visual novel games. Especially those indie furry visual novel games. One that everybody tells that is like the best damn shit that ever happened is Muranatsu. People keep saying that thing is amazing. I have not played it. I have been showed it. I have had people show me Muranatsu, but I never played it myself. But I also have played Black 8, a little bit of it, didn't get to complete it. I guess that whichever route I was doing in Black Gate, it wasn't finished. So I played up to a certain point and then it stopped. And I played also the extracurricular activities, but I also didn't play too much. I played that during my vacations. And I guess I got a little bit far in it, but not that far. And of course, another quote-unquote visual novel game I played, even streamed, was the entire Banner Saga series. Great. Okay, let's turn off the onion skin and go back here to see if this animation looks a little bit better now. And then Samuel said, I love Muronatsu. It's sad that the original never came to be completed, and the new one is nice. It has a great future in it. Also, you recently found out that there seems to be another Brazilian visual novel maker, the one that made Tennis Ace. Oh yeah, I have heard of him. Didn't get to play Tennis Ace though. It felt true weeb for me. More on that later. And most VNs at the moment are not done. Yeah, which is kind of a shame, but go figure. Alright, so the animation now should look a little bit better, a little bit smoother. Alright. Alright, there's a big problem going on here. While the mouth movement isn't like as pronounced as it could have been, the Ludwig animation, let me see if I can find that. That one is very pronounced on its movements. Is this animated? I hope it is. Nope, it isn't. Or is it that one? Is this the animated one? Oh, it is. So here you can see that the mouth doesn't open too much, just opens just enough. And we can see some movement going on. But what happens here is that his mouth, when it opens kinda downwards and backwards. So opens, then opens back. And that's the thing that's not happening here when Wallace's mouth opens. It opens kind of forward, or just straight down. Which doesn't work. Its mouth should be moving forward as it opens, not down. I mean, backwards. Sorry. Like I said, I'm still waking up. Sam said at least the VNs aren't cancelled. Yeah, at least they're not being cancelled straight away. Personally, I feel like the way people are doing visual novels nowadays, there's more to it than just the most everything that there is going on. I think that one big problem with the way people are handling, creators are handling visual novels, which isn't per se a problem, is a tactic more so. Is that they are, it seems creators are deliberately taking their sweet time with creating the visual novel. Like, it could have been done if they worked relentlessly, tirelessly, day after day, night after night. But one thing that probably... Okay, that doesn't work. One thing that probably kind of hinders the progress of the development of visual novels is the whole business model it has. Visual novels are theoretically endless ventures, which people are investing to see done, but creators are just adding content little by little and expanding this world and whatnot. But because it is being done by Patreon, so long as, you know, you throw in some updates and show progress towards the visual novel's completion, then everything's okay. It's like, oh, I have updated and threw more content there, which is good. That's what people want. They want more. But because of that, you can just keep adding and adding and adding and never really finishing it. If you don't have an end in sight, you can theoretically keep adding stuff endlessly and cash in later. I mean, keep cashing in. So you can theoretically keep doing infinitely updating visual novel. And theoretically it is valid. You are creating original content and you're the creator, so you get to have the say on what goes and how it goes. So if you say no, there's more to be done, it's far from being over, then who are we to say that isn't the way it should be? You're the creator, you're the one who knows best, possibly. So we are forced to believe in your word that it isn't done and there is more to be done. It isn't over, rather. But further down the line, you might come to the point where you're like, well, I have stalled for so long and I completely lost sight of what was the end goal of this visual novel. Because you kept on this practice of just expanding this without ever finishing. Make sure you keep cashing in on that delicious Patreon money. Because that's a thing I have thought about a while ago. when the Golden Week comics, when it was nearing its end, I had this thought of, wow, I'm nearly done with this, and once I'm done, how will I keep earning money? What will my income be, since until then my income was primarily Patreon based. So I saw myself pseudo forced to start up a new comic to make sure I kept that patronage going on. But when you already have a story going on, you already have characters, already have a world all thought up, starting something new, almost brand new, is much harder work than just continuing on something you have already done. You have already been doing. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, or if you think about it the same way that I do, but that's my several cents on this. Alright, let's see if this mouth looks better now. Okay, I think it looks good. It isn't a very, a very expressive, full of motion animation. Not any over the top anything going on. But it looks better than what it looked before, I think. By better I mean a little bit more polished. And a little bit more in line. Just for reference, I think I still have the well, I don't. Well, the eyes don't really matter. So let's quickly go back rather, and pick back up the mouth layers just to see the difference between the. Oh, come on. To see the difference between the previous animation. Let's go ahead and create a new animation folder. Tray mouth one over there. Mouth 2. Mouth 3. Just let's get this animation here going. Just so you can see the difference. Mouth 2 and mouth 3 right ahead. Then back to mouth 1, then back to mouth 3, then back to mouth 2, and then mouth 1, and that's the end of the animation. Oh yeah, speaking of mouths, there's something I have to do, which I completely forgot to go ahead and do. And Oni says, "Love me, Doug. Plus, I just woke up for reals. Was struggling to wake up." Oh, it's alright, Oni. I struggle to wake up every day as well. Hope you had a good night of sleep, Oni. How was it? What the fuck? Oh, it's always like this. God damn it. Anyway, hello there, Chandler. Wolf Morning, welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? Hopefully you are doing right. I mean, not right. Right is a good way to be doing it as well, but I hope you're doing good, brother. Oh, really? The fuck? Anyway, what I wanted to do is turn off that little art of me there and adding in a new one. This big doggo boy out here. It is just as cool as the previous doggo eye, but this doggo eye here is animated and does the blink every now and then, so that's cool. But anyway, Chandler, long time no see. How have you been doing? Tell me all about your life. What sort of new and old stuff has been going on with you? I just woke up too, only boy. And did somebody say dank memes? Well, Sam did. And you're doing well. You like the black mage boy I posted yesterday, Doggy boy. Oh yes, that's my lion. I made a drawing for him because, as it happens, I mean, even though he is my boyfriend, I don't go about doing art for him every day. I know there's a lot of people out there that are always getting art done by significant others and people who love doing art of people that they love, but I barely ever draw him or myself even. Otherwise I would have like shit a ton of art of me, which I don't, and that's why. But anyway, thank you nonetheless, Chandler. And Chandler says, just waiting to hear back from university. They are taking forever. To do what? What are you waiting to hear from them? So, okay. This was the first animation iteration. His mouth just kept like opening and closing. It wasn't particularly bad, but it wasn't amazing either. It was very rough around the edges. The movement was a little bit too what's the term I'm looking for? Too sharp. It wasn't a little bit of smoothing into the movement. The movement was very sharp. And what I did was I spent some time here trying to reanimate it to make it like this. So now his mouth movement is minimal, if anything. But I think it works. For the intents and purposes of this. Because this one feels like he's actually saying things, but it's very badly polished. This one has a whole lot more polish going on into it, but it barely feels like he's talking. It seems very timid. I think I'm gonna add another frame here, throw in a fourth frame where his mouth opens up a whole lot more. Gonna try and do a Frankenstein between the two animation styles that we had going on thus far. And Chandler says your application to attend there. They finally got your transcripts, so now it's finally ready to be reviewed. I'll get their decision within a few weeks. And I think it works rather well. Oh, cool. I still feel like it's kind of off. Like the man, it's kind of fucked up to go and ruin this animation here now. So this entire left side here of his cheek looks a little bit wrong. Let me put up another layer here that so I can tell what the hell am I talking about. So if I were to draw a straight line from the corner of his eye to the point where his beard begins, we would have this little trinket there. If I were to move it the other way around, you can see that this distance is barely the same, whereas it should be a little bit more pronounced. What I mean to say is, it feels like his mouth here the beard should start here, and the beard should go all the way over there. It should feel like the distance between the right side and the left side of his face is equal, because right now it feels kind of off. But that, then again, would require a lot of redrawing. Which we're not huge fans of doing, you know. But it ain't too hard, so let's try and get that over with quickly. Especially because, you know, we can take up the shortcut of just being able to move this to the side. So what do you know, anatomy is kinda tricky. But it does pay off so tremendously well if you take the time to go and study it. And yeah, now I have also to go back and repaint him with all this yogurt. So normally when you go about and draw a character, an animated character, you don't colorize it until you're very done with the whole line art drawing. Unfortunately, I didn't have that kind of foresight when I started trying to animate this thing here, so I am redrawing. things that have already been painted. Okay, I think it looks a little bit better now, a little bit more puffier. Actually, not really, it doesn't look that better. Cause I like here that his face looks very square. So maybe what is wrong is that his entire mouth should be a little bit more to the left, slash right, like so. So it would make more sense for it, I guess. Okay, undoing this will take quite a lot of Ctrl Z's. I don't know if it's possible to undo all this. But what do you know it was? Oh, those delicious Wii music. Let's duplicate this layer, might as well. I don't know if duplicating layers also duplicates the whole animation. Don't know that it does. Oh, it does. Amazing. Alright. By the way, Clip Studio does not have like the best interface for animating ever. But anyway. And Chandler said it doesn't feel or look weird to you, and Sam says it feels rather natural. Repairing yogurt, yes, that is what we're doing. And the me one always gets me. I don't know it. And now that I think about it, it is actually quite weird. You know, to have an entire console called Wii. Like, what does Wii even stand for? Like, what? Anyway, what I wanted to do here is move this mouth face thing to the right a bit. Oh, that would displace his head too much. Oh, fuck it. It looks great like this. It's amazing. Let's go. Skip this one up. What I could actually move is his entire face. A touch to that side, along with the eyes. Alright. It's not perfect, but looks better. Alright, so now let's go ahead and do the Frankenstein I said I would do, which is mouth number 4. It doesn't have an animation state, which means I'm going to have to go and create one myself. So the animation goes mouth 1, 2, 3, and then back to 1. Whereas it could now be 4. This is gonna be the actually open mouth. And Chandler said that we stands for we. Does it really? Like, do they actually mean it to be like, Nintendo Wii as in we, lots of people go and do stuff together? Is that the way? Anyway, Oni says that last night the air smelled rather fishy. What do you mean? And Shadow says Doggy Boy on the bottom right blinks now. Yes! Took me a little while animating that, but yes. There's a Blinky Boy on the bottom right corner now. And Chandler also said, yeah, look at the Wii commercials. It's always a play on the word we would like to play. That sounds almost like a horror movie idea. Like, it's the Wii it would like to play. Okay, so the mouth here is opens and then opens even further. This one already opens quite a lot though. I don't think there's much more openness you could throw in here. Also, let's throw in some onion layers here. This is the lazy animation technique where you just move stuff around instead of, you know, erasing and drawing again. All right. Let's get all the beard, move it down and backwards a bit, like so, and then get the rest of the beard and tilt it until those two edges here sort of connect. Then we fill in those blanks where movement happened. There we go. Now we have a possibly good looking mouth animation. Okay, this is a very smooth looking mouth opening movement. which is not what I'm looking for. How about I replace mouth 3 for mouth 4? Wait, no. Wait, what? Is this right? Mouth 1, mouth 2, mouth 4. Then here, mouth 1. What? And then back to mouth 4. Let me do this. It's a little bit easier. Mouth 1. Then back at 2, mouth. No, not mouth 3. Am I clicking on the wrong layer? Is that what's going on? Let's do this by hand. Hey, is this the wrong animation folder? What the hell is going on? Oh, that is the wrong animation folder. What even? Okay, so mouth 1, mouth 2, mouth 4. Then back at 1, then mouth 4. Then mouth 2. Back at 2, mouth 1. How about that? Alright, it kinda works. Alright, so if we do this a little bit weird, like mouth 1, then mouth 3, then 4, then 1, then 4, then 2, then 1, it looks a little bit different. Mostly because we're throwing like variation into this animation, so it looks a little bit better. But it's too much effort to do that for every single animation. But anyway, I think Wallace looks a little bit better now. How about that? Now his mouth looks to be correctly opening back. Instead of just moving down and kind of further forward. Now it moves down and back. I think it looks good. And then it says, I mean, it really reeked like fish. And we don't live by a big body of water like Doug. Huh. Didn't anybody bought fish? Didn't the neighbors grilled or cooked some fish? Because who knows, maybe somebody kind of got some fishes and brought them nearby just to torment the shit out of you. Who knows? So here's what I'm thinking. It looks good. That is what I'm thinking. Don't know if you guys agree or not, but that is what is on my mind. So theoretically it is done. Now all I have to do is make up the final version, which is throwing clothes, going back and doing an actual line art, and coloring, shading, and all that stuff. Thing now though is that I'm thinking, what is the best way of doing that? Because you know, because of the kind of visual novel this one is or might be, it would be good for Wallace to, well, not good but interesting, to have a version of this animation where he actually doesn't have clothes, just like here, where he's bare chested. The first time we see him, he's gonna have his suspenders. So that's a thing. What I'm thinking now is, what is the best way of doing that? Because what I can do is actually draw an entire different drawing with him, with and without clothes, so have two different animations. Or I can have the clothes on a on a separate layer. So kind of just draw the shirt and animate with it with the character. But then when time calls for it, just have it kind of turn off the shirt layer, so to speak, and then bam, he doesn't have a shirt anymore. That would theoretically be the best way to do it. But there's a possibility for so much problems with that technique, which is if clothes interact with one another, and just have one of them, not all of them. Kind of weird. But I think I'm gonna go and give that method a try, nonetheless. Draw his shirt, his clothes, in a different layer and animate that layer separately, instead of making an animation of two separate animations, one of Wallace with clothing A and another with clothing B, another with clothing C. Actually, now that I think about it, the clothing doesn't even get animated. Also, I don't even need to animate it at all. What the hell am I thinking? Alright, never mind, I can... He's not gonna have clothes. I mean, he's not gonna do body movements where his clothes move, so I don't need to worry about that. So let's hide this animation folder. This is gonna be the de facto animation for the mouth. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. I'll delete this. That is the Wallace neutral animation. Let's create a folder, call that animated. Animated sketch. Hide that, move it down. Managing your layers effectively is key for, you know, for an effective management of your team. Alright, so that's pose number 2. That one which he is doing. That's the mouth. Actually, never mind, I should also go ahead and copy the body itself. Because I kinda moved the head a little bit around, so it looks different Composed true. They look different. I'm also gonna go ahead and copy the eyes, might as well. Actually, fuck that. Why make copies of things I already have? Might as well just hide them. Let's hide the eyes and let's hide the mouth. That's so he'll... Without those layers on this is Wallace, that's what he looks like. Let's call this Wallace. Neutral final. Make a layer for the line art. Actually, make a folder called base. Throwing the line art in there, and let's get that started. Actually, might as well help. I have a sketch of his clothes, his shirt, and his suspenders. Not even gonna bother with making like nailing the drawing of his suspenders. This is still, as it happens, a sketch. Anyway, tell me more about your plans for the weeks, you guys. What are your plans? And Chandler, you said no clothes, you screw up your layer so often, makes you re every time. Oh yeah. Layers is like such a weird thing because it's incredibly easy to fuck them up. But they are also so necessary to the work that we do. It's pretty much impossible to think about doing art without using layers nowadays. If you can't have layers, it's like, how do you even expect me to be able to work? Guess the suspender kind of just disappears in there. Something with this one. And then a layer for the shirt, which he was wearing at the end of Call Me Yours, which was a very not tight, but very short-sleeved shirt that looked tight on him because Wallace is a big boy after all. And Chadler says, I hope to get back into drawing this week just to have fun with it. Oh, that's the best reason to go ahead and draw. To have fun. The fuck? Who even said about... Who's the shitface who said that art has to be a job and that you have to be able to earn money with that? Fuck them. Art should be all about having fun and drawing things that you like, making your ideas come to life and having fun while doing so. Oh wait, it was I'm the asshole who said you need earn money by doing that. Dog damn you, dog. How is screwing up everyone's dreams? Why would you go and do that, Doug? It's so very uncool of you. So uncool. Alright, just before we keep going with this, let me go back real quick. Check out to make sure that this is actually what Wallace was using at the end of the comic. Because as it happens, it's been almost a year and I don't remember. But not really, it hasn't been a whole year, it has been half a year-ish. And yes, it was indeed that which he was wearing. A big yellowish shirt, but its sleeves wasn't so short. They were actually a little bit larger. Let's make it then. Let's keep them short-ish, but not that short. Okay, this should work. What the hell? What me? Why do I keep missing layers? Oh man, I've been listening to. I don't know if you guys are familiar. Possibly you guys are with Smooth McGroove. He's a YouTube guy a musician who creates a cappella arrangements of video game songs, and he's amazing at doing that. This past week I have been hearing his renditions of video game songs quite a lot, along with listening back to Digimon Adventure 2 opening theme and the evolution theme, Target and Breakup. And it's amazing, I really like it. Thing is, I wish I could be hearing to them right now, but you know, Twitch streams, you can very well go and play copyrighted stuff. So I'm here kinda aching and shaking my seat, quivering with anticipation for those songs to be heard again by my earlobes, but that's not the way the world works. Unfortunately. Alright, let's have a line art for Wallace now. And this drawing is kind of big. I'm gonna use a number 10 brush. Fancy. Getting to number 12. Which is another thing too here. Since we're dealing with animation, it would be very good if the line weight of the line art for the entire animation kind of kept what's the term? If it was equal all along, if it didn't change or variate too much, if it gets thicker at certain points or thinner at others, it kind of fucks it all up. Especially if that change happens between frames, like, oh, in the first frame of animation it's a very thin line, on the second, third-ish frame of animation it's much this or that. Anywho, what the hell am I even talking about? Doug, what are you talking about? I don't know. My mind is not working properly. I have just woke up and I have not. And I'm back. Oh, internet connection. Anyway. Yes, I was disconnected yet again, but here I am. 104 Hit was telling me the other day that there is this feature, this disconnection protection, that Twitch has implemented apparently. The entire idea of that is that they have this service in place that if you do end up getting disconnected, it, instead of, you know, cutting the stream, it just throws in this little, oh, the streamer has disconnected message or something. I don't know how it looks, by the way. And it kind of holds the connection in place for 1.5 minutes while my internet reconnects. If it goes past 1.5 minutes and it doesn't reconnect, then it says, well, shit. And then Twitch lets the connection go. But if it does comes back, it does comes back, and it doesn't even counts as an entire disconnection of itself. Are these on the same height even? No, they're not. That's why they're gonna be moved. Oh fuck. Further down, friend. Oh, come on, really? What the hell is going on? Guideline? What the fuck? Noni said, I need my stack dad, Doug. I'm going through Theodore withdrawal. Oh no, Oni, no. Don't go through withdrawal. What can I do for you to help with your stack that urges or well, whatever you call them? I don't even know. What can I do for you, Oni? Let me know and I'll look into that. And also, hello there, Tiger. Wolf Morning. Welcome to the stream and thanks for the AU. How's it going? How are you doing this lovely ass Monday morning? And Oni says, I don't know, you're the love dog. You're the love doctor dog. You do something, I'm just dying here. Well then. R.I.P. Oni. Which is resting pepperoni, which I suppose is a flavor of pizza that was named after you. As little, even though that makes very little sense, that's what I profoundly believe in. And Tiger says I'm doing well, sleepy but well. Oh, that's alright, I'm sleepy too. Everybody's sleepy here. Which is what I was just saying as the stream went disconnected, is that I didn't get to rest a whole lot this weekend, hence why I'm so tired and can barely function with the whole yesterday after we stopped playing. Well, first and foremost, we played D&D for 6 hours, and that's enough to tire out whoever. But even then, after we were done with that, I booted up I went to make dinner because we didn't have dinner here. So I made dinner, and then I was then I went back to working on on this whole visual novel stuff here, up until it was time to go to bed, which we did. I went to bed, watched some this new Netflix series, Love, Death Plus Robots, I think it's the name. And then we and then we got to sleep finally. But then I woke up much later than usual and very tired. I didn't get through all that necessary rest people speak of this weekend. So I'm a little bit tired. That'll pass though, don't worry. but also don't mind me too much. I'm gonna be very lethargic, kind of drowsy here in the morning. But that's alright, you get to hear me waking up in real time, so we can derivate some fun from that, hopefully. And if not, then at least you can watch Oni die in real time as well, as he suffers a stag dead withdrawal. But nonetheless, you are right, Tiger. Wallace is a big beefcake of a boy. And Sam says I got off being grounded because I did your homework. Damn, stag daddies are the ones you can't seem to get. How can I help Onel now? Oni, you mean? I don't know. Maybe go ahead and draw some drawings of Theodore and mail it to him at 123 Oni Avenue, downtown Texas, I guess. That sounds like an address, doesn't it? Just find it. It's findable. Which reminds me of a movie trope, which is whenever they want to look for a person or find someone, they look through the phone book to see if they can find that person. But I don't think that everybody is on the phone book. Like probably just services and commerce and whatnot, but not like private people. Or maybe they are, who knows? Anyway, Sam said that you're not very good at drawing. You're more of a writer kind of guy. And Tiger says this is still Wallace. Yes, we spent some time polishing his animation, and now that his animation is polished enough, we're gonna go ahead and finish it up, throwing some spunk and make him look very spiffy. Look at me throwing the fancy words around. I almost sound like I know what the hell I'm talking about. Also, now that I think about it, theoretically, Wallace should have this drawing of him be himself completely naked, but I can't draw that on Twitch, so I'm gonna go ahead and draw his pants. And Sim says yes, Wallace point. Tiger says, oh yeah, love him. Of course you do, everybody loves Wallace. He's the best character ever. Visually speaking, at least. Didn't get all that insight into his personality yet. Which, by the way, is kinda tricky now that I'm trying to write him down. Write this whole scene and exchange between him and Nathan. It's like, what does he sound like? Because, you know, in story writing, normally the way that works best is for you to, you know, think about who this character is, what are their motivations, who are they, what do they want in the world, and yada yada yada. And then using that as a basis, you kind of try and think of how these characters would go about getting their way. But most of my characters are very poorly written because they don't have a life of their own. They are there in the story only to serve a purpose for the main character. So once the main character is done with these characters, they go back to being just background supporter extras, really. Through the years, I have been throwing in a little bit more of consideration and thought into who the hell are these characters and what do they do and what do they want from life. But as time goes by, I kind of forget those things, especially because I don't write them down. So I quickly and easily forget who is who and what do they want. Which has more or less been the case here with poor Wallace. I had written up some stuff for him, like background stuff. But at this point I'm not 100% sure anymore on what all that stuff was. I mean, the basics of it I know, which is enough for me to go and write down more stories or whatever, but still. I don't even know what I'm talking about, so never mind me. I'm tired. Sam! I said, oh Oni, sweet Oni, you are in need of stack daddies now. Cause Oni, he said he wanted to get a cartoon of milk and never came back. Your poor doggo so can't take this strain. Don't worry Oni, he will come back and he will have milk and he will share it with you. Don't fret too much. It's just that he's very particular about the brand of milk he likes, you know. It's not about you just stop and take whichever milk is cheapest or whichever milk he sees first. He's gonna thoroughly go and look for the best milk brand he can find, and he's gonna also kind of go and see if his peers have revealed or have had some good or bad experiences with this milk, to see and finally go and make a decision. And that is a very lengthy process. One which you can't hasten. But don't worry, he'll be back eventually. And then you'll have your stag daddy back. Don't worry, honey. It'll be alright. So just notice that this thumb might be a little bit further back. Because that would make more sense. Not really actually, but then it does. So this is the line art for Wallace's drawing. Let's go ahead and paint that. Which means that now I have to go into one of the comic pages and fetch his color scheme, because I don't have that. Don't have that on me. And Sam says, but I don't know how to get them. As much as I love Wallace, I like Nathan the most as of now. That would change. And you think Wallace would have a voice like Asgore from Undertale? What do you mean, Sam? When I say voice, I don't mean like an actual voice noise. I mean like, what does his what's his personality when he talks? Like, when he talks, what sort of stuff does he say? What is his demeanor in conversation and stuff like that? Gonna drop that. Colorize. There we go. A character voice is more or less a personality, how they act in conversations and whatnot. I wonder, by the way, now, because comics wise I have been doing the Interdictor for almost half a year. In a few weeks it's gonna be almost half a year since I have been working on the Interdictor. But if you look at any other drawing I have been doing in the past, well, in the meanwhile, I have been using my standard shading technique to colorize and shade it, which is very different from the technique I use for the Interdictor. So I wonder if that is bamboozling people when they look at my comic and say, how are you doing that? How the heck? Also now's the moment where it would be nice to have some references as to where the hell his face is at. Wait, why do I have two? Okay, that's the wrong one. That's the crooked one. I don't need that one. Oh. 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 Would you look at that? I forgot that all these other stuff on the inside here are also part of the face line art. Because they don't change. They're not animated. They can kind of help a little bit by being a little guideline. Then it says he left a minute ago, and so a minute is an hour, and an hour is a day, and a day is a week, and that week is a month, and the month is a year, and the year it's a decade, and a decade is a century, and a century is a millennium, and the millennium is an era. An era is an eon. An eon. It's too much time. It hasn't been long gone for that all that time, only don't be silly. He couldn't. It's not that far. He's gonna be back before you know it. Just hang tight. And believe in him. I remember this time has nothing to do with anything. My father had asked me to paint a wall. I was like, oh sure, father, I can help paint a wall. But then as I was doing it, I was kind of sluggish, wasn't having the best technique in the world. My father came to complain about the work I was doing, and then he said, it's like the drawings you make. When you paint your drawings, it's just like that. I was like, no, it is not like that. I paint my drawings. I do it so digitally and it's much faster, much easier. What the hell are you talking about, old man? You know nothing. But anyway, just a little random rant. And also, hello there, Pringles9822. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Mighty nice to see you over here today. How are you doing? Right, I don't need that layer anymore. I don't need that layer anymore. Anyway, hope you're having a good Monday so far, Pringles. So I can make kind of a bad movement. So that's that. It's kind of a that. Kind of a that. Now the most unfun part of painting stuff is I have to go back and fill in this little hole things. But it's easy enough and fast enough to go and do it. And Pringles, you're good. How about you? Oh, you know, just being sleepy, tired-ish. Kinda craving to go back to bed and sleep for another couple of hours, but yeah. I'm doing alright. How about you? How was your weekend? What sort of fun stuff have you been doing? Also, speaking of fun stuff to do, that has nothing to do with anything. That's just me trying to segue, but poorly. Last week I was working here on the Unity with 3D stuff, trying to do 3D environments for the scenes, and I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm not sold yet, because the discrepancy between the 3D environments and the characters is fucking huge. It's like, it's not even the same thing. So if there's no way of me to get there isn't a way for me to go and make the 3D environments look good, possibly through the use of shaders, some hardcore shaders, I will probably not use those 3D backgrounds at all, which means I'll go back to doing 2D backgrounds, which isn't super fun, isn't what I had in mind, but what can you do? And now it says, why does Doggle time flow faster than everyone else? Why are we cursed, Doug? We're not cursed. It's because, you know, dogs, they get attached to people so much faster. It's so hard. When we dogs, we get attached to someone, it's like, oh my dog, I love this person with all my heart and I want to be with them forever. Now imagine if we live to be like 200 years old and our friends, the humans, died like upon reaching their they're 70 years of age, let's say, give or take a couple years. Imagine if we got to live for that long and then the humans just drop down that early in their lives. You would be devastated. You would be like, oh no, this person I love so much died and I still have a long way to go. Imagine. Dogs would be the saddest thing in the world. Instead, it's the other way around. So Wallace is not very hairy, as in he doesn't have a whole lot of chest and belly fur as some other characters. Well, we're mild on that aspect. And yes, of course, I'm doing that by hand. Because who the fuck has time to figure out how to use those hair / fur brushes? I know I don't. But anyway, I have been looking to shaders for Blender. By shaders I mean like ways to make things, 3D things, look different. Because the way 3D works is that you go and make a model and that's amazing and cool and all. But after you make a model, you have to spend some time coating it with color of some sort. And then in comes the shaders. The shaders, they give this color many properties. They can make this color look metallic, that's so it shines, or rather the whole model you made, it shines. The color can also be like reflective, so it can be shiny but without reflecting anything, so that would be more or less like glossy. Or it can actually be metallic and reflect other surfaces. It can be transparent like glass or whatever. And all those things you will do through shaders. So you're possibly looking to spend a whole lot of time trying to figure out how the hell we're gonna go and shade those things in 3D. Which is pretty much the gist of it, from what I have been able to tell. Is you spending a whole lot of time thinking, how the hell do I shade this thing? And then after spending quite a lot of time, you eventually figure out how to shade said thing. And then you go and apply that shader to pretty much everything. Just change like the base color, that so each color has a different, each object has a different color and whatnot, but other than that, go nuts. A couple of months ago, I think, on the Blender subreddit, they were being like, oh, look at that, I figured out how to make the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse shader, which was like quite amazing. The idea of the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse shader is that, or however you call that movie, is that it has this cell shading, very thin cell shading effect going on, but also on top of that, the shadows. The shadows also have this this polka dots texture going on, but they're not necessarily in the object, but they're more like in a canvas based thing. It's kind of like a mask. Imagine there's a big wallpaper with polka dots on the screen, but it only shows in certain places, and those places are the shadows, the shaded areas of the characters, where it's shaded. It's kind of hard to explain, but believe me, it looks amazing. And people spent a shit ton of time trying to figure out how to recreate those shaders in Blender, and eventually some of them did. And now people started going crazy bananas with that, and they made all sorts of cool stuff and posted it on the internet and on the Blender subreddit, which is cool. I liked it, how it looked, how it turned out. Actually, let me see if I can find that real quick. So long as my computer stops being slow. Come on, computer, you can do it. I believe in you. Oh, computer. What the hell? Not necessarily computer, it's more like Google Chrome. Why? Oh shit. And Sam says, Wham Bam Shazam, I'm Bark. Oh, welcome Bark, Sam. I didn't notice you had gone, but welcome Bark nonetheless. Wow, holy shit, my computer is... Google Chrome is really slow. What the hell is going on with you? Chromium. Oh wow. Oh boy. Streamlabs, you're using so much RAM memory. Why? OBS, no. Stop it. Oh no. Okay, don't know why, but OBS is using way too much RAM memory. And that is causing my entire computer to, you know, kinda slow down. So there was a problem with my Windows command prompt, and he figured that out, and then we tried to fix that. We did. So now my command prompt works again, which means the script to get the patron's name works again. But what we realize is that when my computer starts, the command prompt was starting up with it, and it was also loading some program, some software. I don't know which one. But now what happens is that when I turn on my computer, it just shows up the command prompt and it stays there. It doesn't load up the explorer.exe. So my computer just stays there like doing nothing. Then I have to go and manually open the explorer. But anyway, this is the art I was talking about. Actually, this is just a random piece of art I found on ArtStation by a very good artist. But this is the polka dot effect I was talking about. In some parts of the screen you can see it kind of happening. This polka dot effect in the shadows. It's kind of hard to notice this one over here, but in some places it happens, and the movie as a whole has that effect going on. And people spend quite a lot of time trying to figure out how that works and how to replicate that. I guess that eventually they did. So this is gonna be a shade layer. Gonna throw that in. Now I need a mouth layer. Let's train a nice layer. I was thinking of how to animate this on the thing here. I have some ideas on how to do that. But anyway, the eyes though, they're not like, the line art is not amazing, but I don't think it's bad. I think I can use this. I don't even need to go and redraw them. What I'm gonna go and do is shamelessly get all these eyes, copy them and throw them in here. Now just go back, like fixing up the line art. This is the first eye. Just get the good brush, smaller size, and clean up this line art because I probably moved and rotated around this eye here. So some cleaning up is in order. Also, this white highlight there shouldn't be there. Not in the line art layer, it should be there in a highlight layer. But then again, that's the way I organize my layers. And Sam says abracadabra, is the disconnection back? I guess it is. Welcome back. And then it says I'm a bork. An oath, Twitch crashed on you and made your bitrate too high. Fuck damn it. And yeah, that's another thing, I have to look into the internet connection now and see why the hell it keeps crashing so much. We changed our internet connection, it was supposed to stop happening. Those disconnections. I wonder why they haven't stopped happening. But what I really have to do is like look up into my computer, see what the hell is going on with it, maybe try and fix it, reinstall it. Maybe also look into, you know, reactivating Windows, because I had a Windows and then my computer a few months ago, my computer kind of just blacked out on me when I learned that my motherboard had fried on its own. So I said, fuck it, I will buy another motherboard, which I did, which cost me money. But anyway, apparently when you when you change your Windows motherboard, when you change your computer motherboard, Windows forgets or resets and thinks it's a new computer. So pretty much, if you have you have Windows installed on a hard disk drive, and then you take that hard disk drive and throw it into another computer, Windows is gonna be like, oh, this is not the computer where I was before. The motherboard is different. What the hell? I don't want to be here. And then Windows starts whining and deactivates itself and says, if you want to use Windows, you gotta activate it again. But my CD key doesn't work anymore, and Windows refuses to work to activate. So what happens now is that I have to go and get a new Windows activation key. What? Oh, okay. Which are kind of costly, you know. That sucks. But I wonder if some of the problems that I have been going through with on my computer are because of Windows having deactivated. Because as far as I know, Windows kinda does act up in certain ways when you don't have an activated Windows going on. If I'm not mistaken, it like stops updating or becomes unable to update, I think. So I wonder if that's what's going on. Because if that is what is going on indeed, I'm gonna be very, 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 very sad. And Tiger says, "Bet Twitch, don't die." I don't think there's much we can do about that, Tiger. At this point, we're just kind of like shrugging and being like, "Well then, what can we do?" But that's all right. Also, I randomly remembered. Apparently, I have been getting some emails and some notifications. There's a Vampires the Masquerade game that is coming up. That is available for pre-sale now. And apparently, I have heard that the first Vampires the Masquerade game was very good, and people thoroughly enjoyed it. I was like, oh cool, maybe I should go and get this new one then. But when I looked into it, apparently it's gonna release on March 31st of next year. So it's a year and a week from now, which is quite a lot of time, you know, for you to be going like, oh, pre-order right now. But anyway, oh boy. Okay, Streamlabs, what the hell are you doing? You're using all that RAM. What are you using it for? Okay, now I decided to stop using so much RAM memory. Oh, weird. But anyway, I remembered also that there The Vampires the Masquerade, by the way, is a tabletop RPG game, kind of like Dungeons and Dragons. But it was, well, it had a different idea altogether than Dungeons and Dragons. It was supposed to be like in modern times and with vampires and shit. But there was also another tabletop RPG game that was like that, which was called Werewolf the Apocalypse or something. And apparently they're making a video game of that tabletop RPG as well. But apparently this one has just been on production, and they have been thinking and being like, oh, okay, it's gonna happen, eventually it's gonna happen. But unlike this, Vampires the Masquerade doesn't have a release date as of yet. But go figure. Now to do the mouth, which is not just the mouth, it's actually the entire beard and the nose. So the nose shouldn't be with the mouth, but because, you know, the nose is so connected to the mustache, and the mustache kind of changes because of the way the mouth moves. I guess I couple them all in a single layer. So I'm gonna need mouth 1 line art, mouth 1 color, mouth 1 shade. I need many of those. Alright, now let's go and draw that. Throw in some of that delicious polish that everybody loves and enjoy. So for royalty-free music, these songs are actually quite fun. Problem is, you will never hear about them. It's not like a big producer who makes the song and makes sure the entire world knows about it, and tries to push it forward and get everybody hyped for this song and the artist. Because a big part of, you know, making sure a song reaches the people is by coupling it with a name people know, and that name normally is the artist. So even in the realm of royalty-free music, everybody knows Kevin MacLeod. Is that his name though? I think it is. Because of how many quality royalty-free musics he's made thus far. So just from hearing his name and being like, oh, it's music by Kevin MacLeod, You're like, sure. By the way, once again, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Boy, I really need to work in my waking up. Instead of just, you know, waking up and half drowsily coming to stream and do stuff. And I need to pay attention to what the hell I'm talking about as well. I'm focusing on what I'm drawing instead of on what I'm saying. Anyway. Tiger said, yup. They are indeed making those games. I wonder about this Werewolf the Apocalypse game though. Because I don't think they have ever done one of those in the past. And Sam says, Oni says, Doug, I'm slightly spooked of Sam. Why? He wants to make a senpai shrine of me and you. Does he now? Why? Why? Oni, do you remember last week when you were saying something and it was, when you were saying that you wanted to change your name to Clark, and then I said stuff? Fun times. And Sam says, I'm still here, you know. Oh, well then, Sam, let's talk out to you. What is this senpai shrine you're talking about? Let's talk about that. Tiger says ellipses, many of them. And then I say coffee, Doug, coffee. I don't even know if the coffee machine is working anymore. The coffee that is in there is probably cold. Let me go and check real quick. Make sure if I still have some coffee that is not cold and room temperature. Just a moment. Well, I'm out of luck. The coffee wasn't good enough. It was cold now. I mean, it wasn't cold, it was room temperature, which is worse. But I had orange juice, so I got some of that. I don't know if orange juice helps one with the act of waking up, but who knows? And Sen says also, just because I have a photo of Senpai does not mean you're a yandere. More or less, I won't make a shrine. I'm not in love with you all. You're just your friends. Okay, Oni, explain yourself. What is this talk of Senpai Shrine you brought up now? What are you talking about, Oni? And also, Leopold25R. Sorry I wasn't here. Thank you for the follow. And welcome to the pack. How's it going? How are you doing in this delicious day of Demon that we're having right now? And also, hello there, Bones. Welcome to the stream. Always showing up with the almighty dog. Hope you're having a good day of Demon, Bones. How was your weekend? That was all about that. And also, Tiger says, look, lukewarm coffee. It's not good. It is drinkable if you're like desperate for coffee, which I'm not. I'm actually very okay without coffee. Just slightly drowsy, but I can just be a little extra, pay a little little bit more attention on what I'm talking about instead of, you know, letting the drowsiness get to me. But it's not like I need the coffee and I can't function without it, so I'm good as far as good can be. Sam says, cause I sent a photo in Discord of a photo you have in your room, and you said you were going to make the shrine that comes with it, but you're just kidding. A photo of what, Sam? Of whom? And Oni says, oh, it's Bones. I'm sorry, Doug. I broke your coffee machine. You didn't make your coffee. You didn't break the coffee machine. I just turned it off because I didn't want coffee anymore. After I had got my first cup of coffee, I turned it off. I didn't turn it back on. What do you know? When you turn off your coffee machine and leave it off for several hours, the coffee kind of cools down. That's what happened. It's not your fault, Oni. What is your fault, though, is this talk of senpai shrines, which has got me worried and bamboozled. What the hell? And hello, Bones. You have yet to tell me how was your weekend. Hope you have been doing doggish things with your life. Hope you have been a very good and well-behaved collie boy. I know, and I say that, but I know that you have been a good and well-behaved collie boy. What I actually mean by that question is like, did you actually rest and do fun stuff on your weekend? Or were you working from home again? Or from work, whichever. And Sam says, yay Bones, but I will make something funny. What's something? And then it says, so I put your beans on it and broke it. Remember, you gotta be nice, Bones. And Oni also said nothing, Doug, ignore me. You're a small dumb boy. You're not, Oni. Don't say that. You're the complete opposite of that. You're a big, smart girl. And Sam says of Senpai, which is a character named Senpai. I mean, like, you mean I like you, Doug? You're nice and all, but you're not obsessed with you. No shrine for you. Thank Doug. I didn't want a shrine to be erected in my name anyway. So that's cool. I'm trying to figure out which instrument is this one that plays in this song. Because this song that is playing now reminds me so much of the opening theme for Stranger Things, even though I have no idea what the opening theme of Stranger Things sounded like again. It's been forever since I last saw it. It sounds like that, or reminds me of that. But it also reminds me of one of the songs that play in Kerbal Space Program. Is either a very weird remix, or people are using pre-made sound samples in a very, very similar manner. And Sam says, I'm gonna train for the song you wrote in D&D. I'll go wreck your trove until you can sing it well. Why? We're gonna go and do that on purpose, Sam. If you can instead practice it in a healthy manner by doing some vocal warm-ups. And instead of wrecking your trove, you can actually, you know, just practice without risking your health. Because, you know, the idea of going beyond your limits at first is fun, but then later on you're gonna have to deal with the results of that, which is you being very, very, very sick and or injured, and then having to deal with that. So don't. Alright, I think this will work now. I have the first mouth layer drawn. Now to colorize the shit out of it. Let's see how that works. So what I'll need is these two colors. One is for the nose and one is for the beard, and then I'll be done. Actually, there is also the color of the teeth. But we'll get to that when we get to that. And Oni says, I still can't believe I bought Bones Love. Bones Gold Digger confirmed. What? And Sam says, I refuse to believe Bones is a gold digger. I'm gonna practice. Sure thing, Sam. And Bones says, is that my husband? It is, Wallace. What do you know? Mmm. Delicious. Orange juice. I'll need this brush here to paint this beard. Painting by the numbers, let's go. One thing that gives my style a lot of charm, I like to think, is this whole okay, that's where it ends. Good to know. One thing that I like to think that gives my style a whole lot of charm is this whole, when you do I don't close off all the lines, I leave big gaps between them. It looks fun, more interesting, but colorizing that is a nightmare. So totally gotta look into that. Now hide that, hide, what else do I hide here? This, I guess. And colorize, there we go. Oops, this... yeah, sure. Why not? And Bone says only, I'm not a gold digger, but you did need to buy her love, or rather New York love. Why does Oni needs to buy New York love? Bones, I'm confused now. Not to say that New York isn't cool or anything, I have never been there. But still, why does he need to buy New York love? Oh, so Bond says because he needs to pay. Nothing complicated. That's where you are overestimating me, Bones. Everything is complicated to me. Not a very smart boy. Long words bamboozle me. And sentences with more than 3 words bamboozle me as well. Very hard, by the way. So I beg to differ. It is very complicated indeed, and I need help understanding that. Okay, there we go. We have a big old Wallace going on in here. Look at that. Look at this big boy. And Bone says, I love you, Oni, for as long as this sub lasts. Oh no. Bones are gonna hurt Oni's feelings like that. Why would you go and do such a thing? What will it be of poor Oni? Also, Shadow Ka. Hello and Wolf morning. Rather Wolf afternoon. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the raid. And for bringing you and yours to the party. How's it going? How are you doing? And what were you doing? What were you streaming until now? So I'm gonna be. I don't wanna spend too much time on the mouth now. I wanna go ahead and start shading this drawing because I wanna see how it looks with some shade going on. I'm gonna close this layer. Actually, no. I'm gonna close this layer. I don't need that anymore. I'm gonna open up Ludwig's drawing to check out what the hell have I done with his his thing. That's his mouth, that's his eyes, this is him. So for the shading, as always, I use a mixture of yellowish colors. So to make sure that everything is on the same page, I guess I will use the same colors for the shade. Actually, it's the other color around. Doug, what the hell are you doing? So this background tone is the tone of the shading, but there's also the lighter tones and the even lighter tone and the darker tone. This is how it goes. You have the default tone, then you have the lighter, even lighter, and the darker tone. The darker tone is just for some regions, the nether regions, as some goes and call it. Which we won't have much of here, I don't think. It kind of helps making some areas pop a little bit more. And by pop I mean like feel like they belong. Not necessarily pop because I'm trying in darker shades, but instead of popping they're gonna be doing the complete opposite. They're gonna be disappearing, if anything. But anyway, you get what the hell I'm saying. You guys are smart. Oh boy, Oni. Keep doing the squeak on me. Getting me a surprise every time. Why? Like damn you. Also, it feels like this thing is mixing colors so much faster than it normally does. Could it be that the pressure sensitivity is off again? Nothing works here, dammit. Yeah, it would look like that. Go figure. And Bone says, "Look at that ad." And Tiger says, "That's therapist ad." And Oni says, "I think I'm gonna need Ludwig, but I had an odd dream that Doug made cameos for subwoofers that had a year badge." Really? And Bone says, "Smooth." I had a dream he also had cameos lined up for patrons. And Tiger says, "Oni as background woofer putting his beans on his Stag Daddy." And Bone says, "Can I put my beans on Wallace?" I mean, what? And then it says, "No, like character cameos that talk for one scene then slaps over." To Nathan, that was from your dream. Hmm. Oh well. Okay, time to go and do the light shade now. Ish. I still feel like this brush here is kind of misbehaving. It's not working like it normally does. It doesn't feel like it is. So I wonder if there's possibly something wrong with it. Of course there is, but I don't know what. Or if it has always been this way, maybe that is also a thing. Who knows even. Every day when I go and back into Clip Studio, I have this feeling like, is this different? Has this changed somehow, some way? And I can never tell for jack shit if the brushes are actually misbehaving or not. Then I just go and kind of fight my way around with them. Like, well, it may be misbehaving, may not be misbehaving, I'll never know. Because all I can do is keep going and do my work. And Oni says that Doug said this scene would show Oni and Theodore talking, overhearing a conversation, then jumps back to Nathan thinking about what he overheard. Oh really? Hard to say. Oni, speaking of which, oh, actually you said also that then he puts down for Nathan and self-choice like that young Doug and his boyfriend. Should I even call Wallace daddy? No, what am I thinking? He's just a boyfriend, not my father. Huh. Alright. explain to me. I forget. What was the whole deal with Theodore again? Like, why would he go and be all with his son on the end of the Golden Week, but go out and be with you and stuff? I forgot the reasoning behind that. I know there was a reason that I talked about and explained, but I completely forget what that is. So please refresh me. Remind me. What was that reason? I want to know. Also, I was re-looking into one of Mesh's comics. You know him, Mesh, that big furry artist who does a lot of comics. I was looking back into one of his comics, like an old comic of his and then a newer comic of his, and was like, huh, would you look at that? How much the quality has changed, and now his style has changed as well as his comics went by. Mostly the painting style of the coloring and the shading and whatnot. So right now everything that has color will not get shaded. They need their individual shading layers to work. But we're finally starting to get something here. Secrets hidden in another town called Incognito, and probably to make him less grumpy and be happy. What? That doesn't seem like an explanation. Come on, Oni, try harder. Bones says it's not a terrible idea, with all jokes aside. What do you mean, Bones? What isn't a bad idea? Should have a cameo of Oni and Theodore. and have Nathan reflect on that. Overheard conversation and be like, huh. Also, as soon as this stream ends, I'm gonna be able to go back and draw this entire drawing here, but Wallace without his pants. The thing I can draw on Twitch, but it's gonna be a thing in the game, so everybody's underwear is just gonna get moisturized very shortly. Or shortly-ish. One or the other. Bone says Wallace without pains. Some shy, delicious shy emotes. Oh wait, no, you're pure and that's lewd. It's not lewd. Every day you see yourself without pants, and that's not you being lewd. Because you're pure, like you said yourself. Just because someone isn't wearing their pants or whatever doesn't mean they're being lewd. They're just, you know, going out and about with their naked bodies exposed. There's nothing wrong with that, according to someone whom I forgot. Also, what the hell? Oh, that's how I have done that. Oh, good to know. Good to know. The far side is also shaded in the darker shade. And also, Oni, you're a huge liar. I'm gonna hold you accountable for your lies. Because you spent like a year almost going about and around saying that you have a shrill gay voice, which you do not. The way you said I always thought like, oh boy. The way he only keeps talking about his voice, and my ears are probably gonna bleed when he starts talking, but actually no. If anything, your voice sounds even better than mine. I was like, what the hell? Oh, Nia, why would you lie and make me feel bad about my own voice then? What? So you're a liar, and I'm gonna hold you accountable for those lies. And I'm also gonna go and ugly cry in the corner when the stream is over. Don't come looking. You won't find me. That's a very hidden corner, by the way. Where nobody else is allowed. Shit. It is gay. It is. Is it in your room under your mattress? Mattress. I don't know how to spell that word. I never tried doing that before. No. My secret corner is... Where is it again? How embarrassing. I just realized I don't have a corner in which to go and ugly cry. I thought I did, but I don't. I guess I'll just cry in the middle of my living room then. It's not that spacious, but yeah. It's big enough. I disconnected again, Sam. What? The stream disconnected? This one time it didn't show anything here. Also, hello there, Nathan. My dog, long time no see. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? I said long time no see, but you were here yesterday on the Dungeons and Dragons game we were playing. Nonetheless, welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good Monday so far. How was work? How's life? How was your weekend? Oh yeah, I forgot all about the face. It has to be shaded as well, you know. It is an important part of the canine body, is the face. Don't forget about the face. Doug. Precisely you, Doug. Don't forget about the face. So normally when I do the shading, I use like just two colors, the overall shading color, and then the lighter color. This time around I'm using like 4 colors for shading. Just so you really can tell there's an extra layer of quality going on in that. Not necessarily quality per se, but looks better than when you do this thing with just 2 colors of shading. Can tell there's a little bit more depth going on in here. Alright. Nathan, you said you're gonna take 3 days from work, so you rest. Resting is good. I'm glad you're able to rest. Also, hope you enjoy your short break. And Onya says, yeah, the reason why you are Theodore's well-kept secret that nobody knows, and that he travels through our Nathan and Wallace Boyar, New Nicken, to visit you and be with you, and go back to continue his work after being with you for a week. Said so. And you're not good with this storytelling mumbo jumbo. And Bone says, why does Wallace visit you? You're a jealous boy. He doesn't. And it says, dog damn it, Bones, I meant the town where Nathan and Wallace are at. The city of New Nicken. So, Oni, are you telling me that every now and then Theodore leaves his house, his work, his family in New Nicken, in Little Penningen rather, travels all the way to New Nicken, stays with you for a while, then goes back to his family like nothing happened? That sounds like adultery. Anywho, now I have the light shading, so I'm gonna take these 2 brightest shading colors I have, and this one I'm just gonna throw it on the left side, not at all on the right side. I wonder if using this smooth brush gets me better results. No, it doesn't. Fuck that brush. Oh yeah, little do you know, after I'm done with this drawing of Wallace, there's gonna be another one, which is him with shirts, then the suspenders and everything else. Because, like I was saying earlier today, this past few weeks I have been doing some game dev streams, but I have been throwing a whole lot of effort and focus into trying up new systems, seeing what else I can discover about how the flip Unity works and whatnot. But I have not been doing a whole lot of progress into writing the story and illustrating the characters. And that is, per se, the bulk of this whole visual novel thing. So if I can't very well go about and say I'm doing a visual novel if I'm not doing the 2 things that defines a visual novel, which is the story and the art. So I'm gonna spend my time on these game dev streams doing the art for the characters, polishing and finishing up this art, and my time off stream writing the story, which is a thing I have been trying to do and is a thing I found incredibly hard to do. Writing stories with branching paths and shit is not that easy, you know. I've never tried doing that before. Except that one time I did, but wasn't like, oh no, a story with multiple deep meanings to each choice you make and whatnot. It was more like, okay, which one of these 6 ways you wanna have sex? So I could very well go about saying that that was Branching Paths, the story at its prime. Anywho, what the hell am I talking about? Why does this happen to me? Why do I lose my train of thought so much, and so often? And instead of just snapping back to, hey, I don't know what I'm talking about. I keep saying words. Fuck damn it. And then it says yes, cause he can say it's a business trip. And Target says it does sound like that. What does? Sound like me. And Bone says shirts with no pants combo please. Shirts and no pants. I guess that can happen. It's iffy, but yeah, that could happen. Also, why? That's the most pertinent question, is why, Bones? Why? Shirts and no pants combo. I mean, other than the obvious answer, why? And Nathan says, yes, I have the same problem. And Taiga says, yeah, we went through all of your stuff for D&D so far, right? Yes, you did. You guys did. Although all that stuff I had for the D&D was like, I spent 1 week-ish doing all that content you guys took 4 sessions to go through. So I imagine that if I were to go through or to go and spend like a week or two writing more content, it's gonna take you guys a whole long time to go through all that. So, and there's also a lot of stuff you guys did on the D&D campaign that I had not thought up. I had to think on the fly. And Nathan says, I have many stories and rich world, but it's hard to write for interactive mediums. Oh yeah. Writing branching stories and keeping the characters concise and, you know, prioritizing all the stories equally. Not saying like, this is the canon way and I'm not gonna pay attention to all these other possibilities. That is really hard to do. Because you want to write a story that, believably, all paths are the right one. But if you, deep down in your heart, you know, no, this is the actual right path, you're instinctively not gonna pay as much attention to all the other paths, or you're gonna end up prioritizing one over the other. So, writing with that in mind is really tricky. Tricky business. But what do you know, you have to go and do that. And Bone says, I live by that life, I never wear pants. I'm sure people... Well, I'm sure your friends are used to that by now. Because, I mean, we are your friends, and we are totally used to you not wearing pants by now, so there you go. We accept you as you are, Bones. Hope you're happy. And Tiger says, also I just realized we were playing a game of D&D where we are traveling with people being sent to a penal colony. Like some of the history of Australia and the English. Yeah, pretty much. It's not necessarily a penal colony, but yeah. People who the society doesn't want over there anymore are being sent over there. Like, oh, you're evildoers and iffy people. I don't want you here in my place anymore. So off you go to the distance with you. Also, I just realized one of the craziest things. DMing for Dungeons and Dragons is like, alright, all this content I had prepared is not gonna be enough because I'm gonna have to deal with these other hundreds of possibilities that I could not have anticipated. Which is fun, because you have to think on your toes, but it's also kind of nerve-wracking because you have to think on your toes and make sure you don't break anything else while you're trying to fix some other thing. Kind of fun. It really gets the adrenaline pumping. And you're like, oh boy. And yes, Ho Boy is a robot boy. There we go. We have a Wallace shaded and in full 3D Technicolor. Look at that. It's an underbite doggo. Clap your hands if you like him. And Bones says, honestly, they are. And Noni says, Bones tried to sue you cause you had a blank tank top and forgot to wear pants. Oh no. And Bones says they just invade your room unchecked and hang out regardless of your immediate embarrassment. Oh no. And Bones says only black tank tops or black or blank tank tops are copyright protected. Please don't steal. Just like Sonic the Hedgehog. And then it says, but I was using a blank tank top because I wanted something cozy to hide your fat. And Bone says, use blue. And Nathan says he's good, only beard is a little flat. I have not shaded the beard yet. The entire face I have not shaded it. Because the it's gonna be animated. I have yet to go and do that. Might as well go and do that now since we have the time. Lovely, lovely, lovely time we have. Let's call this mouth 1 shade. Now let's take out that. Let's unmultiply that and start playing with colors. Because everybody loves colors. I'll need those colors in here as my reference swatches. The dark-ish color thing. So, Bones, your friends actually do invade your room and don't mind that you're completely pantsless, or shortsless, or naked, waist down, and they just kind of hang there and like, oh, it's Bones without pants. Whatever. Anyway, about the DVD I was talking about. Game of Thrones, boy oh boy, it's finally coming back. Have you watched the 7th season? I find it very odd how in the end of the 6th season Varys is a time traveler and a world traveler, like, oh, what the fuck. Also, Dorne plot, man, was so much better in the books, and that guy who was in the books, Daenerys' cousin, holy shit, imagine if he was on this show. Also, have you heard about the spin-off they're doing of the story of the Seven Kingdoms before it were the Seven Kingdoms? Man, it's gonna be crazy. And meanwhile, you're there sitting with your... being like, welp, I'm naked and they're here talking to me, let's interact with people, that's what I do. That is not at all what your functions encompass, but yeah. Interacting with other humans is one of your many what is the term? Obligations as a dog is interacting with the humans. Oh, poor Bones. Life is so unfair to you. And Tiger says, oh yeah, I agree, Beard is flat. Yes, I'm fixing that now. And yeah, you would hug him. Also, Wallace would have a deep belly type laugh. Yes, he does and he would. That is in fact the drawing I made for him. That is pose number 1. Yes, it's a deep belly laugh. And it also is animated, but I'm gonna have to polish that next time around. Not right now. Also, I'm dying on the inside. I'm low-key dying because I'm shading this beard here. But little do you know, with every animation frame he has that he moves his mouth about and around and his beard moves with it, I have to go back and reshade it again. I can't just move the shading about. And that is gonna be a nightmare-ish thing to go and do. And then I'm gonna spend the rest of my life being like, why did I choose to do it like this? Why? And then I'm gonna keep being very, 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 very frustrated and disappointed until, of course, I finally release this game and people come and say, hey, I love that game, Doug, you're awesome, keep doing that. And then all this pain and enduring will be worth it. If that happens, of course, it might not happen, and if that doesn't happen, I'm gonna be like, oh well. At least I learned how to animate. Ta-da! Well, the fun thing, lucky for you guys, I have learned how to work with this microphone that I have, and the noise thresholds are very high, so you can't hear very low noises that happens when I'm drawing. Otherwise, it would just hear like endless tappings as I keep making these short brush strokes here with my pen on the tablet to make individual hairs of beard and whatnot. fur. One or the other. Whichever one this is. And you'll be like, well, Doug is drawing beards again. Time to hear the tap taps. That would be your guys' Mondays in a nutshell. Oh, so would you look at that? Apparently Wallace puts on some sort of beard balm or pomade or whatever to make it extra shiny. It looks super delicious. Alright, so now that I have gone down shaded his face, his beard rather, this is what it's gonna look like. Ta-da! It's not as flat anymore. Now it actually looks like a beard. All that is missing now is the eyes. I gonna create the eyes one shade layer. But I didn't even need to. What the? Ooh. Okay, so the same shading I have applied to the beard, I'm gonna apply to the eye. And so none of this looks flat. Everything looks shaded and, well, looks appropriate. That's that, and that's this. Ta-da! Actually, his eyes looks more shaded than they should be. I have to throw in some extra light in there. And now also, just to make sure I'm not using too much space needlessly, I'm gonna delete everything but that. So these layers aren't like occupying too much space on their own. Alright, this is the finished version of Wallace. Next up I'm gonna do the other two frames of mouth movement and the other eyes, and then we're gonna be done with him, and Wallace is gonna be a done boy, ready to be imported into Unity and animated properly, and then yeah, I'll do things to him, only me. Very lewd things, just so you know. And Bone says they do, yeah, do not care. And Oni says gross. And Bone says rudes. Rude, rather. And Oni says put some chonies on. Chonies? And Oni says put plus, Doug, it's not your fault if Stag's dad or dads who are married want to commit adultery with you and legit buy a color with a wedding ring on it. Oh boy, those words. And Bone says Oni's milkshake brings all the dads to his yard. And it's their fault for having a miserable life of marriage. Oh boy. And Sam says, well, it's almost time to say our farewells. Well, do you know it is? And goodbyes, and if any of you judges you for saying this... Bones already judged you, Sam. Well then. And Sam says, I'll see you in my office. It's made of clouds. Well, Bones, it would seem like you have an appointment with Sam where he's gonna complain about things to you. But that's between you and him. As for me, now it's time for me to go have lunch, which I don't have, so it's time for me to go cook lunch and then have lunch. So this is it for now. For today, rather. Thanks to all of you delicious boys and possible girls who may or may not be there for joining up today in this lovely Monday, as I have gone down did some artwork, which is gonna be mostly what Mondays are gonna be from now on. It's just gonna be me doing artwork for the comic, because as it happens, I mean not for the comic, for the visual novel game, because I need a lot of artwork which I don't have, and someone has to go and do it. So I'll be going and doing that in the foreseeable future. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this stream, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Next time being tomorrow, when we're gonna be back doing something else. Hope all of you have a delightful, wonderful Monday. Doing, I don't know what you guys normally do on Mondays, but work for some, school for others, and Nathan, hope you have an amazing time with your what's it called again? With your little break / vacations / rest. Other than that, now make sure you guys go and check out Lena Wolfie, who's playing some Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And every time I see Breath of the Wild, my pants just get moisturized, so I can't even think of anything else. So go over there, check him out, tell him that Doug sent you, and stay awesome. Bye bye.